This is where we talk about how we grow both a powerful brand and business and life as well, because everything's connected. Welcome to Brand and Biz Spills. I'm Debbie White. I've spent 30 years in the creative advertising industry, working with Fortune 500 brands while also being a serial entrepreneur, building several multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses along the way. I'm talking with other powerful women to share insider secrets and insights about building your brand and business. And I don't have time for BS and fluff. You don't either. So let's get to building a powerful brand and business with some real frank talk. Follow me on Instagram at FranklyDeb so we can connect further. Hey everyone, I am here with Jessica Krewson today, who is a branding expert. Okay, yes. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Jessica Krewson is the owner and CEO of DESIGNKREW Inc. And this is a bespoke branding and digital marketing agency in Los Angeles, California. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Jess. How are you?
Thank you. So good. So happy to be here, Debbie, with you. Oh my gosh. We're going to deep dive into all things branding.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So I'm going to call you Jess because I know Jess. I have the advantage of being able to do that. You've been doing this for over 14 years, right?
Yes. Very long time. It feels like.
Yeah. And the ultimate goal, I mean, let's face it, like we're helping businesses and brands, profit, make money.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I want to talk about branding and money today.
Oh, I love.
Right. It's related.
So I'll just kick off and say this recently came to me for like what we do or what I do, what we do. And it's like, I put the wheels on the bus. Like you have the bus, but you don't have wheels. And we put the wheels on the bus to get that sucker in motion, get your brand and your business in motion so that you can make money. Right. And make the impact that you also want to make while you're making money. And, it takes money to make impact, as we know.
Yeah. Well, let's break this down a little bit because I have found not everyone has the same definition of what a brand is. And it's really interesting to me. How do you define a brand? Like, what do you define as a brand?
Love it. Such a great question. Well, I think let's say what it's not really quick, just in case, because I think a lot of people put brand in the bucket of I have a logo or business card and maybe even a little like logo mark emblem, something.
I hear this all the time.
That is not what a brand is. It's like a small sliver of what a brand is. So let's just kick that idea and concept to the curb. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It's important. I'm not saying it's not important. It's definitely important, but it's only like 10% of what a brand is.
I think it depends for some businesses.
Yes.
I think it's even smaller.
Yes.
It's changed so much now because of social media.
Just the pace of I would say it's even changed since smartphones became available because the pace of the world just sped up so drastically since that time period that like the whole idea even of like a 10-year business plan is ridiculous. Even a 5-year business plan almost feels ridiculous because things are changing and
very
evolving
aspirational
and like moving so quickly. So what is a brand? In my opinion, it's all under the umbrella of how am I or how is my business being represented visually with its content? What are its values? What is my core messaging? What is my positioning? And then how does my business like literally sit in the marketplace? And then I also like to add another layer of what I call brand energetics. Because if people feel you from a mile away, there's so much available, so much information available to us, who hasn't Google and like Instagram stalked a business before they've decided to purchase. I mean, like I always try and make an informed decision before I say yes.
Absolutely.
Almost anything. All the way down to like, is it available on Amazon? Can I get free shipping? Like, so everybody's looking at everything, and the availability of information is so like at obviously everyone's fingertips. Yeah. So my point being is like, is your brand energy in the right place? And it can make or break whether you're successful or not. Because if you're like, I don't really want to do this, or I'm just doing this for the money, or I'm just doing this because someone else told me to do this. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be showing up as your authentic and aligned self, which is what a brand is. And a brand is not like solid matter. It's extremely organic. As you grow, your brand will grow. As your business grows, your brand will grow. You will go through iterations, and you just have to allow for that, with also not changing your mind every 5 seconds on what it is. So,
gosh, that's so well said.
Such a dance. And that's why it's so important to have people like Debbie, like me, on your bus. Yeah. Putting those wheels on your bus, because we can help guide that and do it from a very like educated and strategic place. Yeah. Versus an emotional or on a whim place. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I have a question. Yeah. So there's a lot of women listening to this out there. Yes. They have their own business and they're at different stages. Mm-hmm. What do you think as far as when should people start really paying attention to branding? At what point in their business journey do you feel? Yeah, I may be biased. Mm-hmm. But I say at the very beginning. And I don't mean logo, business card, no, maybe not even website. I agree. I'm not talking about the distribution channels. Yeah, I'm talking about brand, because whether you like it or not, you're already branding yourself from day one of your entrepreneurial seizure, as I call it, where you're like, I want to start a business. Like, from that moment forward, you are already branding yourself. Like, take a look at your social, take a look at and how you're saying and what you're saying and what your message is. So I, again, maybe biased, but I really think it's a day one situation, and you can save yourself, holy cannoli, so much time, energy, effort if you start nailing down these things from the very beginning. Because I've worked with everyone from startup, just starting, to established businesses for several years. And okay, everyone needs branding help. Like I said, it's an evolving situation. It's like something you kind of just always need to be thinking about. And like, if you get your messaging and positioning and brand story and brand values down from the beginning, you're just going to save yourself so much heartache. Oh gosh. So we're both brand experts. So of course, it's interesting. We both think this. Not everybody thinks this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's really interesting to me, but here's what I see, just tagging off this, Jess, is when people start with that, like you said, it actually shifts their business. Yeah. Because there's things they haven't thought, they think they've thought everything through, but when you go through figuring all this out, it actually starts to shift the business, oftentimes the product or even service. Because it forces you to look at, how is this really unique and different than any other thing out there? What can we do differently? Where is the marketplace? This is business strategy rolled into brand strategy. I don't see, I, for the life of me, can't see how you pull that apart. No. I know we're super biased can I swear on this podcast? Yeah, like, you can do it all. You can throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, by all means, but like, don't expect your pocketbook not to be drained while you're trying to figure it out. Like, it's like, it's like trying to build a house on sand. Like, you could do it. It might hold up for a little while, but you will have to tear it down, put in a proper foundation, and build it back up again. So I love speaking metaphors. I love a metaphor. Yeah, because it's just like, it just makes things more easier to understand. So, and look, like, how far and fast do you want to go? Like, everyone has to ask themselves that question. And if you want to go far and you want to go fast, like branding is essential on that ground foundational level.
Absolutely. Well, I also think if you look around, look at the superstars out there, whether it's the superstar brands, I'm going to get into this too, and influencers, whatever, like they have a brand strategy. Oh yes, they do.
100%.
100%.
And it's so like when it's good, when it just feels like they're just being a natural occurrence in the universe. I
think people realize that, but all the rock star brands have a very tight, thorough brand strategy.
Yeah. And look, like there's a million brand strategists. There's a million artists. There's a million nutritional specialists. There's a million blah, 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 blah. It's not million financial. I mean, like there's anybody like can, choose a set or a process or a skill, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it's like the way I talk about it is going to be different than the way you talk about it, Debbie. And it's going to be different than the way Jane over in New Hampshire talks about it, and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? Like we all know this to be true. We've probably heard the same statement said by 9,000 different people. But for some reason, when so-and-so says it, it lands and you're like, oh, that's my person. And that's because of all the brand elements. And I've listed a few: values, messaging, positioning, unique selling position, blah, 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 blah. Like that's because that aligns with who you are.
There you go. Exactly. I love this. So I could talk about this just
all day.
Forever. It's
I know.
so
Me
good.
Too. Me too.
Okay. So kind of circling back. Is everyone a brand?
Yes.
Everyone. Even if they're not selling anything, are they a brand?
100%. I don't care if you're interviewing for a Fortune 500 company or the mom and pop down the street.
They're a brand.
You're a brand.
I bet everybody's minds are like, what?
Especially now because Mr. Manager can be like, let me go up, look Susie Q up on the Instagram and be like, I don't know if she's what's she up to? I don't know if she's a cultural fit, or maybe she is.
Yeah.
Maybe her brunch with her rosé is a cultural fit and maybe it's not. Right. So blah, blah, blah. Like I don't care if you're just on the dating market. You're a brand.
That's like, a whole specialty. I know there's people that coach that.
Yeah. And I mean, don't judge a book by its cover, but we all have like 2.5 seconds to capture someone's attention and make a statement and make an impact on whatever that is. Yeah. And I'm not even like talking facades here. Again, I'm talking your energy alone is part of your brand. So
it is.
Final answer.
Okay.
Answer.
Let me ask this then. If everyone's a brand, what's the difference between a brand and an influencer?
Okay. Well, influencers have a brand, but brands aren't necessarily influencers.
Okay. Can we explain this? Because I think this is what I see.
Yeah.
People start learning stuff. Yeah. And they get on social media and they think they're supposed to be an influencer when they really have a product or a service. Like, whoa, stop. There's a difference.
So there's also personal brand. There's like brand and there's like personal brand and then there's influencer. So do we all remember what a Venn diagram is from school? Yeah, they might overlap.
The 3 circles. Yeah.
They might overlap, but not necessarily all, tipping into one another. Okay. So you want me to describe the difference? I guess. So you can be an influencer and just like kind of get paid for existing in the sense that like you are creating a lifestyle, you are like creating a brand in and of yourself, and based on kind of like how you walk the earth. Can then promote different products based on that. And I'm talking about like an influencer that's actually like monetizing.
Yeah. This is great. Yeah. I just want people to hear that there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Yes.
Then you can be a brand that enlists influencers to help support your brand. If they're in brand alignment, you can be a brand selling a product or a service and not necessarily have to be like, let me show you my every moment and move. No, not necessarily. Depends on the level that you are face fronting for your brand. because there's products and businesses that exist and you don't necessarily know who's running the show.
Yeah.
Although I will say more and more, because of brand values being so important on the list for the consumer, more and more like CEOs are front facing. For example, Sarah Blakely of Spanx.
Yeah.
You know, she has her own involvement in like the social accounts of Spanx,
right,
and her own like PR around her. You know, the top dog is at Apple for sure.
Absolutely.
But not for every brand. So
No.
it's really like, what is an alignment? I always call it a very graceful dance between what's in alignment for you and how you want to be represented and presented in the marketplace, and also what is important and valuable to your ideal client, and marrying those two so that there's just this really wonderful, beautiful marriage and dance. And then there's the personal brand.
Right.
I think you can be a personal brand. You will have influence, but you might not necessarily be an influencer. You know what I'm saying? So like, you are definitely face fronting for your business. Maybe you're an artist, a coach.
Right.
I think at certain levels, no matter who you are, like, you are going to be influential in your market, in your industry. You can't escape that if you're face forward and you're sharing your opinions and your thoughts and all this. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're like an influencer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's nuances. I know, like, it feels like there's some overlap in all three areas, but yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's important to hear, because I feel like I like to kind of draw a line with influencer is, you know, they're influencing with their lifestyle is kind of what they're selling the idea of.
Yeah.
And then they have like lots of products they rep.
Yeah.
But I think some people look at that as like, that's how I'm supposed to do it.
No.
And it gets very distorted.
No. And I mean, I constantly say, and I think you probably do too, Debbie, it's like, you don't, I mean, obviously take inspiration from others, but it's really up to you and likely a strategist and a specialist to decide like, what is your brand? Yeah. What is it? And how is it? Where is it? How does it feel? Exactly. All the things, the sensory things.
And when you figure all that stuff out, you'll hear strategists like us we question our clients, like, is that on brand? What's on brand? Well, you have to figure out your brand first.
All the way down to like, should I partner with this person? Yeah. Like, cause people are like, you will come across so many questions that come up in your business as you move through, all the way down to like, should I hire this team member? Should I partner with this person on this project? And if your brand is really anchored and solid, those questions are really easy to answer.
Yeah. I mean, I really look at it. The cool thing about branding, it does so many great things, is it really becomes your North Star for your business.
100%.
You know, like a soul North Star, really.
Yep.
Yeah. And then if you really get into it, and I really specialize with purpose driven, when people get really anchored in their purpose, and you do that with your energy, we do it a little differently, but yet similar. It's life changing. It's like, oh my God, you see them make these huge shifts because they've gotten so clear. It starts to impact every aspect of their life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when there's like 75,000 different decisions, and you're like, it paralyzes a lot of people. Yeah. Myself included. And so again, when you have that brand North Star, I love the way you said that. It's like, I know where I'm headed. I know where I'm going. I know that pit stop isn't for me, et cetera. Like, and you just kind of like, you have a course to walk, and a path to walk, which is
it actually refreshing. It helps me make business decisions. Even, I mean, I'm not kidding, all the way from, like you said, not just, you know, who could I collaborate with, but who's the right fit for my team.
100%. Yeah.
Should I do this trending video or not? Like, I know what's on brand for me. I'm really clear about it. Yeah. But if you're not sure, I mean, it's like, and then you start following trends. What happens is your brand is all over the effing place.
All
and no one
over the
understands
place.
what the heck you're all about anyway.
And guess what? Then they stop. They'll just pass on by.
Well, you lose their
Bye.
trust.
Yeah.
Because they can see that you don't even get what you are. And if you don't get what you are, you can't build the trust.
Yeah. I always
the confidence.
I always like to reference very, everybody knows what Starbucks is, right? Yeah. So imagine if Starbucks was like, no, I think we're going to start doing boba. And you're like, huh? You're like, what? I'm like, I'm not going to go to that place because I don't know what kind of drink I'm going to get. But the fact that everyone, besides the fact that coffee is addicting, yeah. and then
it's true.
Keeps going and going back.
It's so true.
It's like, I know what I'm going to get. I know how hot it's going to be. I know who's going to be the barista at the front. I know how they're going to treat me. I know what snacks are going to be in the aisle. My experience is so, on target every single time. Yeah. That guess what? Now I'm loyal. So this is the same thing when you're all over the place and let me try this and let me try this. As fun and exciting as that can be, I always say, if you're not bored of your brand by 1 month of business, then you're not doing it right.
God, that's what I say.
You should. You're like, oh God, it's this green color again. I don't know. You're like, yeah, this green color again.
Yeah. And I feel like this is what I hear. I feel like I'm a broken record. And then I hear this one a lot from my clients even. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell them, we talk about this. I feel like if I post this same thing on all the channels, people are going to get really tired of me. And my response is, girl, they're lucky if they even see you.
Yeah, I know.
You catch them for 3 seconds. Look at TV ads. How often do those same ads run over and over and over and over and over for years?
And then you're like, maybe I will buy some Cheetos today.
Yeah. It's very repetitive and predictable. Mm-hmm. And I serve a lot of people that are visionaries, creatives. Mm-hmm. It's those words freak them out. Mm-hmm. But can we talk about that for a second? I'm looking, we still have time.
Yes.
So being predictable, being consistent for a lot of people, entrepreneurs get bored with that. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
How do you deal with that with your clients when they're like,
here it is. Are you guys grab your pen and paper, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I love. Be so predictable with your brand and use all that creativity and innovation in how you serve your clients.
Oh, yes.
Gold. So it's I always go back. It's all energy, right? So let your brand, let your brand and how you show up and all that consistency and predictability, be there as a foundational structure that your people can lean on and trust, right? And then all of that creative, passionate, multi-passionate energy inside of you, use that for innovation, creativity, how you serve, how you impact within the way you actually provide the product or the service.
I love this so much. Okay. It's just, that needs to be shouted from the mountaintops.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think people feel like they can get their hands around their messaging once they kind of do. And they want to just I need to keep changing. I need to keep changing it. I need to change my look. It's no, give yourself the freedom to go, this is set. Mm-hmm. I've got it so dialed in. I just need to show up differently, but basically it's the same message. I'm saying the same message almost every day.
Yeah. And just let that energy come out.
Yeah.
Be willing to fall on your sword for the service you're providing. Be willing, let it be your sermon if that resonates to you. You can't, it's almost you cannot not talk about it. And even though it's the same fireside story every single time, it's you're a wise elder and you gotta teach. You just gotta do it. You gotta share the message. Yeah. And just a little nugget, you treat medicine is what I call it. When you have a pet and they're sick and they have to take a medicine, if you just put the pill in front of them, the dog would be like, are you kidding me, lady? You wrap it in a piece of delicious meat or some sort of treat, and then like gobble, 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 gobble. It's like, tell them what they need to know and to hear, and then, or give them what they need or want, and then teach them what they need on the back end.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one that I see. I see this a lot with newer businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They have several different things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this? And I see it a lot. And they're like, well, I want to be able to do this thing over here, but this thing over here is a little different. Oh, and then I got this other thing. And wait, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that come to you with that?
It's hard to have a general answer for that.
I know it depends on the brand.
It does depend on the brand. Some you can combine, and I get it, multi-passionate person. It's that one's tough because it's hard.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I know it depends. Let me ask you this, because I've seen so much of this. I know. I always say pick one and give it 80% of your attention, because what I see is if they can't focus on one area, their audience is going to be confused.
Yeah. So
do you see that?
Yes. A confused mind always says no.
That's right.
Okay. So here's typically what I tell clients is like, become masterful at one, and then add the others into your product suite later.
Love that.
Because do your 10,000 hours with one, get known for something.
Yeah.
And especially if you're really, really new, no offense, but you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. So
yeah, it's true.
You kind of have to anchor into one, kind of learn all your lessons.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of a metaphor. Like, drive the low end car when you're 16 and figuring it out.
Maybe there you go. I like that.
Hit a few things and get a few scratches, and that's cool. And then go buy your Mercedes, right?
Don't hop in daddy's Porsche right away.
Yeah. Don't hop in daddy's Porsche. I mean, you can, but there's consequences, right? So like, yeah. So like, get your feet wet, like get some mud under your shoes first, like really anchor into the one that you feel the most passionate about.
Yeah.
And then like kind of stick with that, learn, and then you can add more into your product suite later.
I love this. So good. Because I see that
on
a
the
lot.
other side. Yeah. It's like, I get it. Like, and I'll just be very frank and direct.
Please do. That's what this is all about. Come on, bring it.
Don't be a 2-year-old tantrumy about it. Like, just don't throw a tantrum. Like, but I don't get to do what I want to do. It's like, yeah, you do. And you're also here to serve.
That's
right.
The thing.
And solve a problem and be giving and listening. And this is what the world needs right now, especially with entrepreneurs. And it's like cool. Like you're going to learn so much about your client, especially in those first couple of years.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So much. You're going to learn the words that they use, what they really want, how they want it, what they're Google searching about. Like, you're going to learn so much about, and I will also say this, you might be surprised that somehow those other passions like just kind of naturally get mixed into the fold, but you can't sell 7 different versions of you. It's just impossible.
It is
I'm
impossible.
Sorry, I'll say it. It's impossible.
I agree.
Everyone's like, I don't. Maybe Cheesecake Factory did it successfully, where they have like 17 different versions of food on their menu, but it's 30 pages. And I don't know if
that's why I don't like it. I went there once. I'm like, I hate this place. What the hell is this all about? Sorry, Cheesecake Factory and lovers.
Confused. Not for me. I love your egg rolls. Okay. So the confused mind says no. And if there's too many options,
no.
I'm Xing out of the
Not when you're starting out. They also had probably a lot of backers and money behind them. You can't start that out.
Yeah.
And how are you going to be known for that?
Yeah.
They're known for a 36-page menu. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't start your business being known for 36 things. One thing, one person. That's one of my favorite books. The One Thing by Gary Keller is one of my favorite books.
Oh, good
one
for
thing.
all entrepreneurs.
Yep.
You got to zoom out, but you also got to zoom in sometimes.
You do. It's a constant. Oh my gosh, this is so true.
Yeah.
There's the zoom in and then there's the zoom out. So the brand strategy is it's both.
It
both. Requires you to zoom out, zoom in, and it requires you to zoom way, way, way out. And this is what I want to talk to you about as we kind of wrap here, is that it requires you to zoom out so far that you have to get into the shoes of your audience.
Oh yeah, always.
And I feel like
not once.
Not
one time.
It's not a one-time deal. It's like a daily thing. It's like a daily deal. It's like, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? If you start writing a post and it's all like, and I didn't me and it's like, wait, what's in it for them? If it's a story that they really can have a great takeaway, awesome. But this is like, it's really a shift for them to think about, wait, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about it from that vantage point.
Yeah. And like to get a bit some titles like benefits versus features. Like, I don't care that there's 12 calls and 36 webinars and blah, blah, blah. Like, what am I going to get? What's in it for me? Like you said, why should I effing care that this person is talking to me right now?
And what's better about this particular la-di-da than the next one? Like that has to be able to be articulated.
And that's why your positioning and your messaging is so important, because how I say it versus you versus, Jane Doe over there. And it's going to be different. It's going to be different for different people. And that's why I also say there's no pie. Like, there's not like only so many people that need your work or need your mission or your medicine and blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's more than enough to go around. Yeah. And it's just like, you have to make some decisions.
I totally agree. You speak my language. I don't believe it. Yeah. There's millions of people, billions of people around the world. But they can't find you if you're not clear on why how do you do it differently?
Repetitive,
broken record,
and
again. You're like, oh my God, this sounds so boring, but it's not. It's so freeing.
Yeah.
And I love how you put it, because you're right. When you have this figured out, your brand strategy figured out, you can take off and fly. Do you think people can do this on their own? Or do you think people need an expert?
I can't even do it on my own for myself. Like, the brand expert needs a brand expert, right?
I so agree.
It's so hard to see the forest through the trees.
It's really tough.
And you're so close to it. And then especially if you're like in a very, I think everybody is to some degree, in a jargon heavy, profession or skill set or service, right? You're going to say things like, I don't know, like, I can't think of an example, but like, you're going to have a particular word that you've learned and used for millennia. And your ideal client's like, I have never heard that word before. It's not something I would Google search. Yeah. Like, say there's some sort of microbiome, like in your stomach, and you're a gut health professional, right?
Right.
I'm never going to look up I don't know that I have something off with my microbiomes. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, my tummy hurts every day at 6 p.m. Like, why? Google why. And so you have to figure out what that is.
You have to be able to speak that language. My tummy hurts at 4 a.m. Why not? And sometimes that seems too simplistic, but that's exactly, you have to be at the level of your client. Always.
Yes.
Oh, we could go on and on. This
forever.
Was so good.
So good, Debbie.
For all of you all listening today, again, this is Jessica Krewson. You can reach Jessica at DESIGNKREW. That's crew with a K. So it's designkrew.com. And can you just tell us briefly, Jessica, who do you specialize in working with? Because I know you have a specialty agency.
Yes. We work with online businesses, female-driven, empowering female-driven businesses who are like really in the online space. They're either selling products online or doing coaching or facilitating some sort of consulting in that way. And we do everything from top to bottom: websites, logos,
the whole
and
nine
sales
yards.
funnels and email marketing and social media marketing for those types of businesses and companies. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a done for you type of service.
Done for you.
Okay. So this is, let me guess, is there a certain qualifier for this to be a right fit for them? As far as income level, business level?
I would say if you have been in business for a few years, you kind of have some of your foundations laid and you're really looking. A lot of our clients are like in a transition, like the old stuff isn't working anymore. We need to make a shift and an up level.
Yeah.
They're in a like up leveling space in their brands. And so we come in and see, what needs to be changed, tweaked, and upgraded, so to speak. So that's kind of a great qualifier.
That is a great qualifier.
Yeah.
Jess, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to have you back. This was good.
I'd love to be back. We could get real nitty gritty too.
Real nitty gritty.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And that's a wrap today with Jess. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Brand and Biz Spills with your host, Debbie White. Visit franklydeb.com where you can connect with us and join our free Facebook community where all the brand action happens. And I love hanging out on Instagram, so follow me there at franklydeb. And join us next time for another episode of Brand and Biz Spills. Let's get real on women growing powerful brands.